And now I have finished arranging the sheet of paper on the otherwise barren surface of the desktop, where daylight watches over numbers I arrange into columns and rows to calculate someone else's profit. First turning the paper a little skewed to the left, then slightly back to the right, left and right, until it finally stays in this one position, a direction so unremarkable no one has yet thought to give it a name. If you look closely, you can already see the amazing story of my life begin to stretch across the vast emptiness of white, with the same care that once spread the dun feathers of a house sparrow across a child's hand, as if sorrow alone could wish flight into the dead wing of the bird from the living hand of the boy. The sparrow had been shot for target practice by a 12-year-old killer who would struggle out of childhood to resemble me. This is only a small diversion in a big story you assume wants to be told with the same worry for details as for the angle of its paper. You may accept the life of this bird as the price of a child's contrition as you accept the dinner chicken at the end of a hard day. Your compassion isn't shaken, even when I tell you that what you have learned all your life to call a sparrow is a finch, not scientifically a sparrow at all. What fact have you ever known that couldn't be changed? The feathers which opened across the white palm were the fingers on the right hand of my friend whose father owned the shotgun we were using. Each life is diminished by each day that succeeds. My friend was wearing a yellow t-shirt on the day we went shooting, a proud shirt that only advertised its color. Why did I save such a small detail from a day on which so much was lost? Even the color of the shirt I was wearing ran from my memory faster than I could run for help. If I could change the facts of my life, I would tell you that my friend was spared. The last new thing the world would give him to learn would be the old number of the day it tired of his stupidity. I would make him grateful to be alive even for the unhappy nights he would awaken to his voice screaming out the names of the loves that abandoned him to the dark. I would change all that and more, and it wouldn't matter to you. You are already turning your pity into blame, and I am becoming the villain in my own story. One at a time, you will move away from me. After all, he was not your friend. This is not your tragedy. You have your own faint rustle of wings to chase after. Only pain thinks enough of us to stay for our company. His was the easy death that is promised the good. What more do you have to know? Make your judgment here, now. We don't have to wait for the reckoning to show us how we hurt one another so deeply. 40 years later, I'm watching a man who believes Jesus asked him to yell at people from a street corner. He is shouting at me, but not more specifically me than anyone else, and actually at no one. Nothing he says loud enough the cold wind doesn't blow it away. His hair is long and dark against the pale white of his face. For a moment, it could be he, come down from stained glass with his fiery heart and the sacrament of forgetting. But in the next moment, and despite all his urgency, it becomes clear he is not the one with the secret words that grant redemption, something he will be the last to know. When is a door not a door? The silly children's riddle, the only prayer that comes to mind. I'm sure he will find it wanting, though it is complete in the way that all prayers are really questions with easy answers. When is a man not anything else? It starts to rain. The whole city becomes the two of us facing each other across the street. I turn away to follow the wetbacks of pigeons. The puddles tear themselves apart on the sidewalk. And though it is still afternoon, the town is dark under the shade of wings and the clouds that stretch above them. Because I can name every street in my path, I am certain where I am. just as I am certain I have seen this exact rain before. This is the rain that fell on the day of my friend's funeral. And so the story returns to blood. Martyr's blood, you believe, or the praise. But in any case, not your blood this time, not mine. What I want gets confused with what I ask for. And what I ask for is to have all my loves gathered in one place when disaster happens. The airplane crashes, an earthquake opens the ground under our dancing feet. A terrorist removes the last line of poetry from his face. The unspeakable, sparing us the unbearable. But this is not a place where anyone is spared. The feather in my hand is painted with the brown mud of the road on which it fell. The bird which was the painting the feather colored learned long ago how many parts could be lost before there was nothing left to remind it of itself. Any small wind is all that is needed to take a human voice away from what it loves. And in less time than it takes to say this, even the air won't remember what it heard. I am telling you the truth in the same space I could tell you a lie. The two so beautiful together, which of us could bear to pull them apart? Go away now. There's nothing more to learn here. The story comes to what it always wanted, the hush at its end. What remains of the paper, white, perfectly silent, forgiven.